entirely on what you think the purpose of a computer interface is. Purists will say a progress bar is more efficient. A lot of users will tell you the XP version was more interesting and felt more connected to understanding what the machine was actually doing. Both of those things are true simultaneously. The application compatibility question is where the XP versus Windows 11 comparison hits its most dramatic and decisive difference, and it goes strongly in favor of Windows 11 in a way that cannot be softened by nostalgia. Windows XP runs 32-bit software from the era in which it was built. It cannot run 64-bit applications. It cannot run any application written in the past 15 years that targets modern Windows APIs. It cannot run any modern web browser. Google Chrome stopped supporting XP in 2016. Firefox stopped supporting it in 2018. The browsers that technically still function on XP do not receive security updates and render modern websites incorrectly or not at all. This means that Windows XP cannot meaningfully access the web in 2026. It cannot run modern streaming applications. It cannot run modern games. It cannot run the version of Microsoft Office released after 2010. It cannot run Teams, Zoom, Discord, Slack, Spotify, or the vast majority of applications that define how people use computers today. You can install XP on a machine and boot it and be impressed by how fast it loads, and then you have very few places to go with it. The benchmark tests measured raw performance metrics. They did not measure whether the system could actually be used as a daily computer in 2026, because they already knew the answer to that question. Windows 11 runs everything you need to run in 2026. It supports 32-bit legacy software and 64-bit modern software simultaneously. It runs every major browser at full compatibility and full performance. It runs every major communication application, every creative tool, every game released in the past decade, every piece of productivity software on the market. Windows 11 with DirectX 12 and support for technologies like direct storage has features that genuinely improve performance and capability for specific workloads, particularly gaming, in ways that no older Windows version can match. Modern games with ray tracing, high refresh rate support, and advanced shader. Compilation use Windows 11 features that Windows XP not only does not have, but whose existence could not have been predicted when XP was designed. The platform capabilities of Windows 11 are real, and they are significant, and dismissing them entirely in favor of a lighter system footprint misses a large part of what makes a modern operating system useful. The security comparison is the one that ends the debate for any practical purpose, and it ends it decisively and without ambiguity in favor of Windows 11. Windows XP support ended on April 8, 2014. That date is not a technicality. It is the moment when Microsoft stopped publishing security patches for the operating system, meaning that every vulnerability discovered in XP's code from that day forward has remained permanently unpatched. Security researchers have continued to find vulnerabilities in XP's code after 2014. Attackers have continued to develop exploits targeting those vulnerabilities. The result is an operating system with a growing, permanent, and completely unaddressed collection of security holes that no update will ever fix. XP has no secure boot. It has no TPM integration. It has no integrated device encryption. It has no modern exploit mitigation technologies like address space layout randomization at the level that modern Windows versions implement them. It ships with user accounts that default to administrator-level access, meaning that any malware that runs on an XP system immediately has unrestricted control over the entire machine. In the era when XP was sold, worms like Blaster and Sasser could compromise a fully unpatched XP system in minutes simply by connecting it to the internet without any user action required at all. Security researchers who set up XP honeypot systems connected to the internet in recent years have documented those systems being compromised within minutes of going online. The WannaCry ransomware attack of 2017, one of the most damaging cyber attacks in history, spread so rapidly precisely because a large number of organizations were still running Windows XP on their internal networks. The NHS in the United Kingdom was among the hardest hit, with hospitals forced to turn away patients because XP machines running critical healthcare software were encrypted and inoperable. The vulnerability WannaCry exploited was one that Microsoft had already patched in Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10 months earlier. On Windows XP, no patch was available. The attack was not proof that XP was uniquely bad software. It was proof that running an unpatched, unsupported operating system on a network with sensitive data has consequences that are real, specific, and potentially catastrophic. In 2026, cyber insurance providers have made this calculus explicit. Most insurers now specifically exclude unsupported operating systems from coverage, and some will refuse to cover organizations at all if XP is present on their network without strict isolation controls documented in writing. Windows 11, by comparison, has the most sophisticated security architecture Microsoft has ever shipped in a consumer operating system. The TPM 2.0 requirement that excluded millions of older computers from upgrading, the requirement that generated so much controversy and drove many people to look at Linux as an alternative, exists because TPM 2.0 enables hardware-based cryptographic key storage, secure boot verification, and measured boot processes that make a significant category of firmware and boot-level attacks much harder to execute. Windows 11 includes virtualization, base security, which uses hardware virtualization to isolate credential storage from the main operating system in ways that prevent credential theft, even if the operating system itself is compromised. Microsoft Defender, the built-in security tool, receives real-time updates and has matured into a genuinely capable antivirus and endpoint security product that independent testing consistently rates among the best available. Windows 11 applies mandatory ASLR, control flow guard, heap randomization, and other exploit mitigation technologies that make it dramatically harder to turn discovered.